What's guys? What's going on, guys? Back in me is here, and today we get the Foster Season 5, Episode 18. Just say yes. The 100th episode of the Fosters. We finally made it to 100 episodes. So anyway, yeah. Yeah. And also yeah. So anyway, this episode starts off with Stef and Lena arguing like talk stuff, about how they should go on, how Lee doesn't want to go on the retreat that Steph Mom gave them in episode 15, but Mario hears them arguing. Mario's like, hey, you two should go, and Steph's like, why? So you two can go to a party again? And Steph's like, Mario's like, no, so you two can work on your relationship. So anyway, yeah, so then we see Brandon and Grace, and I really like Brandon and Grace. So anyway, yeah, so we see that Brandon is in LA for something, and so yeah, actually, we see Brandon and Grace, and Brandon's at a hospital watching Grace, and Grace says that the T cells worked. So she and Brandon hug, and then Brandon and Grace go to LA, where they're like, hey, where they're like, hey, where they do these like pictures where Grace plasters Brandon's name on a celebrity called Foster, so it'll say Brandon Foster on it, and take that a picture swing. Yeah. So, and then they start singing a song for, tourists, and they give them money. So yeah, so anyway, yeah. So while that's happening, Callie and Jimena, Poppy, and her parents come over, and Jimena's like, hey, they feel like ICE is gonna come after them again, because because they had a warrant because they pretend to be police officers and look into their house and get into the house. So Callie talks to the internet and is like, hey, back in 2008, there was a story about how two people pretended to be police officers, just like when some Fuego went into this woman's house, and they were actually bad people. So yeah, so anyway, Aaron's like, hey, so anyway, Callie's later talking with Mariana, and Mariana's like, Callie's like, hey Mariana, Mariana's like, hey Callie, do you have things for Aaron? And she's like, she doesn't know. And Mariana's like, you gotta stop creating these tragic love stories with dudes. So Callie goes to Aaron and is like, hey, let's get back together. But he's like, hey, my relationship with Amanda isn't as same as it was the last time I talked to you. They were pretty serious. So yeah, so it seems like Karen won't be getting back together. Jude's not in this episode, but he is in episode 19, which is kind of sad that we didn't get Jude for this story. They said Jude's off playing at Taylor's house, probably playing video games and lying and doing his secret live streams, but we don't know because Jude's not in this episode to tell us that. So anyway, yeah. So back with. So anyway, yeah. So Steph talked before Brandon left. Steph talked to him and was like, hey, he's got to stop being a caretaker, and basically So anyway, Grace gives him a bottle and gives him a bottle of the sand, and the sand in the of the what is it called, of the picture of of the bottle of the sand of his senior project, and he's like, what is that? Why did you bring this? And she's like, just for good luck or something. So she tells Brandon that the T cells did not work, and she's not gonna go back. And she's right, Brandon, you can't, you gotta listen to your mom. You shouldn't be a caretaker for me. I'm not. And he's like, you can still do around gene therapy. And she's like, no, I'm done. So anyway, yeah. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, she's like, you're gonna go back to San Diego, finish out your senior year, and I'm gonna stay in Berlin, and maybe you can come visit me on the weekends. So yeah. So right now, right. So anyway, yeah. So back with Stef and Lena. Stef and Lena go to the marriage retreat where they are introduced to these were introduced to the couples marriage counselors mistook who mistook Stef and Lena for a husband and wife duo because their things because when the couples ran Stef and Lena's name, her mom put Stef and Lena instead of Stef and Lena, so they thought Stef was a dude, and Stef's basically had enough, but she pretends like saying, "Oh yeah, I'll just take the him card," and it's just like, so yeah. So anyway, yeah. So they do goat yoga, which is super weird because all goat yoga is a goat standing on your back, which is kind of weird. So yeah. So anyway, Lena's all dressed up in a suit, trying to get Stef to be in bed with her, but Stef isn't having it, and it's just and even when Lena said, "Hey, she's just afraid of what's gonna happen when the kids all leave, or they're gonna stay together." It's just like Steph, and even a woman was talking about how her father is dead and how she can't reconcile with him. So and that is kind of Steph's problem. And the dude's like, just because your father's dead doesn't mean that he's not there. So basically, when Steph goes to pick up a rogue goat, who shows up? But the ghost of Frank, her dad. And he's basically like, hey, once you, like, everything on Steph, like, once Steph, like, forgives herself and reminds how beautiful she is, everything that he said to her, every bad thing that she said to her will feel like nothing. So, yeah, even though Frank's kind of a terrible dad in Steph's childhood, his ghost is being there for her. So Steph basically is like, Lena, will you marry me? And Lena's like, for the third time, will you marry me, Lena? And Lena's like, Steph, I'll marry you every single time you ask. So basically, I love this relationship. I love Steph and Lena. They're just such a great relationship. Like, no matter what struggles they face, like they had to face like getting divorced. They had to face like losing their house. They had to face Steph's breathing problem. Everything that they faced over all 5 seasons of the show kept them together. Even their fights, were their fights were the hardest ones, but they still stuck together, and I love that. Steph and Lena are the best thing of the show. I love them. So I love Steph and Lena. I love Sherry Thumb and Terry Pole's acting. Like Terry Pole is acting. Terry and Sherry Thumb, I think that's her name, or Suam. I don't know how to say her name. But anyway, I love their acting. They play the perfect Steph and Lena because like no one could play Steph and Lena better than these two actors or actresses. Like no one can play Steph and Lena like these two. Like they show that their characters are in love. Like every time I watch the show, even through their hardest moments, every time they fought, it just showed. Every time they fought each other, it just showed how much they love each other. It's just a beautiful thing. That's definitely like, oh, Stephanie, you were the best part of this show. But I am saying it. You are hearing on Beckham Media right now that Stephanie are the best part of this show. And they are. If you don't agree with me, if you think that any other character is the best part of the show, tell me. But I think right here, right now, Stef And Lena, if they made Funko Pops in the Foxes, I probably have Stef And Lena Funko Pop because I think they're the best part of the show. Anyway, I think that wraps up this episode. What an amazing episode this. What an amazing episode this was. It's not that amazing episode. Yeah, sad that Grace decided to give up the gene therapy. Just the T cells didn't work, which is sad. It's sad that she gave her gene therapy, but at least we have Stephanie, the best relationship. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys have one from there, and I'll see you guys next time on another episode of the Foster